Goodness gracious.
Here we go. It's us. Welcome to the party, and welcome to the raid. Hello, Ren. Would you like to start?
The moment I was taking a drink. Yes, hello, and welcome to this here party. We will be playing a game tonight. A very special game called Michtim, Fluffy Adventurers. And we are very excited to move into episode 2. But before we do that, we're going to talk about our lovely sponsors. We're all playing on this very fantastic platform called Roll20, which is making it super easy for me to see all of their rolls and figure out if I am, appropriately tormenting / inspiring them for emotional things. Let's see. We are also sponsored by Tabletop Loot, who makes really cool dice, and I have a lot of them. So Nerdware, who I also really like, and I've done some stuff for them. You can buy a sticker with my face on it in their shop, which is real weird. And then also Devin Rue, who makes with the good maps. All those fine folks sponsor and support this channel, and it is very helpful. Oh, somebody already typed sponsors. Thank you so much. I was just going to do that. Nice. Let's see. Also want to talk about the Welcome to the Party Patreon. Our Patreon supports the bulk of the operations here, and subs and bits during this here stream will give you awesome emotes that you can use in the chat, and also will give us some extra benefits to throw around in the game. And then you can check out the Patreon information in our little chat right there. I'm already feeling incredibly spoiled tonight by not having to type that myself. And also, make sure to join our awesome Discord. It is one of the most active Discords I am in, and that's great. Because, sometimes you join a channel and then it's like, nobody's talked in 2 weeks. Alright, I'm going to move that to the bottom of my Discord list. This Discord's great. A lot of very interesting channels for lots of different topics. Good people. I am going to move on to introducing my players. We're not going to talk about our characters just yet, we're just going to talk about players, where you can find them on the interwebs, and if there's any projects briefly that they want to talk about right now. And we're going to start with our guest, actually. We're going to start in the other direction, because as you'll notice, we have a different player this game. Media Junkie!
Oh, hey. I guess it's my time to talk.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, I didn't know whether I jump in or just wait. Hi, so I am Miriam. You can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. You can find me here frequently, especially on the weekends. I am a hobgoblin lore wizard on Angela's campaign, Adventures in Agni. But I will not be here this weekend because I will be at a con. And yeah, I am the creator and GM of the Musafirs podcast, which is a decolonized actual play 5e podcast featuring an all queer POC cast. Let's be.
Super exciting to be playing with you tonight. Thank you so much for being able to jump in for this game. And we're gonna slide down to Angela.
No, I've been put on the spot. Whatever will I do? Hello there, everybody. I'm Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24Fem on Twitter. PhoenixFem23 or something, some variation. If you find a Phoenix Fem or a Philosopheme, it's probably me. I haven't changed the name in like 8 years, because why broke what's already perfect. I am the DM for Adventures in Agni, and all POC D&D 5e campaign that happens here on the Welcome to the Party channel on Saturday evenings, where my players, frequently about 10 minutes into the session, already cause me to break into a fit of giggles, because I have Mariam and I have Dojiro, which means I die of laughter very quickly. But that's the main thing I'm working on right now because life stuff has gotten in the way and Patreon has stalled a little bit. But I just recently added another music commission that I did for another WTTP member for her website, Michelle Ely's Mental and Managing website. I have created a theme for that is now up because I believe the site is also up. So go check her stuff out and listen to my music / pay me money because thanks.
Well, I'm really, really excited to be playing with you again tonight, or GMing for you again tonight. And I also just kind of realized, it just clicked in my head just now, we've got like 2 Firebird people. Because you got the Phoenix
That's
and the
right.
Firebird. Didn't click until just now. You're like, if there's a Phoenix, I'm like, but I'll also Firebird.
You cause calamity, I cause rebirth because you are the eternal.
I should change my Twitter to On the Fire Front now.
Yes, honestly, it's really not that deep. I was eating those atomic fireball candies when I made my screen name.
Oh,
Anyway.
Mac
So
and bean.
let's move over to 4.
Yes, it is me, 4. I am here to play, but if you want to see me run this cat, oh, she's so perfect in the background. I run Mouse Guard on Saturdays here at Welcome to the Party, but I will be likely running an Aliens RPG sometime on my channel. And I'll also probably be picking up an Animorphs hack of Blades in the Dark once I get time. Not only that, I am also making my own original horror / Twilight Zone-esque role-playing game that will be getting some updates here and there on my Twitter if you'd like to keep in touch. But for tonight, I am merely myself. It's great to see you. I see everybody with whiskers, but the only thing I have is like the pink. All I have is pink right now, so I'm like, should I like have pink whiskers or?
You're still
You
in
absolutely
theme with that.
should.
You've got the head poof thing going on.
You make up for my lack of pink. Do it.
Oh goodness gracious!
Turn off the sound. God damn it.
Something just happened. What is that?
Shenanigans.
Alright,
Next
it's
person,
me.
let's keep it going.
I wonder
Okay.
what's going on with tech tonight. Gosh.
In addition, we'll segue into me thanking for very, very much for running the tech, because I am very tech bad. I even, like, all of my GM notes are on paper because I tech bad. So 4 is our tech person, and I am so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm gonna move over to Steph.
Hello, I'm Steph the Bard. You'll find me on Twitter at Steph_Bard. And every other Saturday, so not this coming one, but it'll be next week, you can catch me streaming on the Experience Points channel. We play Starfinder, and it releases as a weekly podcast every Wednesday. And I have a couple other projects that I can't quite yet talk about, but I'm super jazzed, so keep a watch on my Twitter, and you'll find out when all of these things are in a position where I can talk about them, because I'm an excitable person. So following me on Twitter guarantees you seeing me screaming about podcasts that are tabletop oriented. I did 2 live tweets today, and it was insane.
Playing a Starfinder game with Steph is how I knew Steph was going to be able to pull off playing an animal type creature in a game.
I mean, I went from playing a wolf person to a tree person. So now I'm Groot.
Oh, that's great.
And our current Yosoki will ride on my shoulder.
That's adorable. The Yosoki are forever my favorite Starfinder thing ever. How about, speaking of creatures. There's a very adorable cat. I don't know if you can actually see it in the frame of the Twitch.
Only the paw just reaching out of frame.
But hey, Wild. What's your cat's name? And you. I want to know about you, but also I want to know about your cat.
Yes, I'm Wild Engineer. This is Bambino, who's
Oh,
being
gosh.
extra. He's being a little extra tonight. You can find me on Tuesdays on Greyhack Channel for some D&D. Thursdays I'm here for some Max the New Generation Super Sentai Power Ranger style. And on Fridays I run my own game of Masks. Yeah.
Masks looks great. I am really interested in playing in a Masks game at some point. Very exciting. And I am a Time of Firebird. I will be your guide this evening for Michtim. Seasons of Entropy. Episode 2. Summer. Hey, I gotta make up for the lack of, special effects somewhere,
Do you need sorry. Oh wait, I found it.
God damn it, for.
Just I got anything you want, babe. Anything.
So,
But I'll leave you in the driving seat from now on. Here we go.
I'm gonna take the volume down just a smidge. But not a lot. All right. So, for those of you who got to watch our little adventures last week, or for those of you just turning in now, just a little recap. Last game we opened on the Spring Festival for this community of Michtim, who are Fey Hampster creatures that live in the borough of Thistleborough, which I realize is redundant, in the forest of Lyria on this island. It is a magical forest, and these Michtim are the guardians of this magical forest. The Spring Festival is one of the most important times for the Michtim, and everyone was all getting ready for that when, during a raspberry picking expedition, there was an unfortunate kidnapping of the tiny floofy white Michtim named Colette by two humans whose mysterious cat creature, had been harassing a poor bird. Unable to prevent the kidnapping of Colette, they were able to carry the bird to their healers. And that is where we are going to pick things up. It has been a couple of months since the horrible Colette incident. The spring has made way for longer days and brighter sun. The excitement of the festival has died down, replaced with, the hard work of summer and getting all the crops ready and that sort of thing. All of our characters have spent some time preparing, thinking about how they want to try to rescue Colette or how they want to try to move on. And so we are going to first, while we're all thinking about all of them, screen wipe over to a new face. And I would like our guest to introduce your character, give us a little bit of a physical description of what your character is doing on this, which is the day before the first day of summer.
So Kaju, pronouns are they, them. They are very wiry. They seem like they have they're built for speed and trying to wriggle out of stuff. They look like trouble. And they are currently climbing up the tallest part of a small tree with their aviator goggles on, and their fur is the color of cashew nuts, like a really nice sort of golden beige color. And as they're climbing up, they are on a branch and they look down to the scene before them, the soft grass or whatever down. They put their aviator goggles on and then just free fall down, holding on to 2 feathers as they fall.
Now, you've done this a lot. You're well practiced in this, but I feel since you're the guest, I would be honored if you would do our first roll.
Okay.
And I just want to see how epic this dive is. And I
Alright.
think, unless you have an objection, I think that probably this seems like a very joyful leap. So it's just making a joy roll. It
Okay.
also gives you an opportunity to hopefully start amassing some mood tokens.
Sure. I'd like to hold 1 to hopefully get an extra success if I, make it look cool. So that would be 1. And then the mood is just the number of dice left over, correct?
Mood is if you've already collected some mood tokens, then you add
Oh,
how many,
okay.
because moods automatically add onto your score.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so that would be 0.
So you have succeeded. You didn't get any 6s, unfortunately, but it's still definitely a success. And since you held, you have 2 successes. So why don't you just describe how epic this jump is?
So while it looks like a death leap, initially you don't see the feathers that are there. It's just like, just almost like a flying squirrel, but because I'm not actually a flying squirrel, I'm just sort of like this furry thing just plummeting. And then suddenly I whip out from my utility belt 2 feathers from a bird, and it sort of starts slowing my fall a little as I drift down and almost land on my feet as I drift.
And as you get down to the bottom, there's a couple of very enthusiastic claps. You see a couple of small kid Michtims just looking up at you in awe, and the sort of older kid Michtim, you know his name to be Blueberry, is just staring at you, just kind of slack-jawed.
Hey, Blue.
Wow.
I just push his jaw back up.
You're the coolest.
Thank you. You're cool too.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you want to see me do some target practice?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right. Neat. And he's got a slingshot. So he pulls a couple of stones out of his slingshot and tries to hit the tree. Fails to hit the tree and looks at you very concerned.
That's just
I think I'm having a
warming up.
bad day,
That's just warming up. You'll get the hang of it. Do you want to try something cool?
I'm afraid of heights. I don't think I can do that.
Oh, no, not that. Why don't I take a blueberry, put it up in my head, and you try to hit the blueberry?
That's my name.
Yeah. That's why I thought of blueberries. Because it looks so cool if you could hit the blueberry with your.
Yeah, and then it'll explode everywhere, and you'll get all purple because blueberries aren't really blue.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
All right.
And I just go set myself up waiting.
All right. Ooh, yeah. So blueberry rolled a 6 and a 4. So he just lines up. He's got his little slingshot. He's got a rock. He's just aiming. He's aiming. He's aiming. He pulls back. Kind of squints. Lifts up just a little bit more. Let's go. And you feel blueberry juice just gush down your head.
That's awesome.
And he jumps up and down. I did it. Oh, you're messy now.
That's okay. As I start licking, like, my tongue's kind of like cleaning the top half.
Cool. All right. Well, cool. And he runs away.
I'm just wandering around at this point. See if I meet anyone else.
Let's see. You're wandering the town. And as if we are, watching a movie by your vantage point right now, we see sort of like the camera pan around the village. It is a very bright, sunny day. There are birds chirping, and there's people, banging their carpets out from their windows, wheeling wheelbarrows of dirt and stuff that they're bringing to their various gardens for additional composting things. And you see the camera sort of slide over, and it hits Cordelia. And we're gonna slide into the Cordelia perspective now. And for everyone that is returning, I've got a new set of questions. I would like to know what calling your character has chosen, because it has been a couple of months, and everyone's characters have been training or preparing or whatnot. So what calling your character has chosen, how has your character been dealing with the Michtim napping of Colette? Are you preparing for rescue, dutifully watching over the bird, trying to get the adults to form search parties, etc.? And then just list 3 pieces of clothing or notable items that your Michtim is going to carry on them at all times. Sort of an addendum to the appearance thing from last time. Anything from like a fancy new vest to utility belt, bag of throwing stones. I'm talking about blueberry now, etc. So, Cordelia, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hello again. Quick recap in terms of what Cordelia looks like. She just imagine a relatively small kind of hamster with sort of the top third of her body being kind of a black tone to it, to the fur that turns into sort of a gray midway through, and then turns into like more of a whitish. Like her underbelly is relatively lighter than the rest of her. Like I think how I imagine a lot of hamsters are, but there is. I would say because for how she's dealing with it in terms of how she's not trying to stress anyone else out about the situation, she probably has like little streaks of almost vitiligo now, like stress vitiligo spots that have happened across some of her fur. She is a bard. You probably, when the camera like pans to her, you probably more than anything hearing her before you actually see her. She is not handling things the best. It's been mixed success because she's very hopeful about finding Colette. She definitely thinks that they will return and wants to figure out what she can do best about it. But she kind of wavers back and forth between extremely hopeful and happy and trying to check in with friends about it and spending some time healing the bird and maybe seeing like how her skills could be put to that use. That's sort of what inspires her to do more bard stuff, and also being alone, very sad, and like occasionally writing sadder songs that she doesn't share with anyone. she tries to talk to her parents every now and then, but it's sort of like the half full disclosure where she says it and then she doesn't tell all the full extent of her emotions. Like she gets about 60% there and then she's like, but I'll be okay, it'll be fine. And then she goes to be alone in her room. She's a little more introverted now. And she has a scrapbook with songs and recipes for food that she saved from her mom, and she's probably visited Bior's mom to learn recipes to make for Cordelia and songs to play for, not for Cordelia, for Colette when they come back. A songbook of pieces she has shown people around the village, and a very round acorn that she keeps tied around her neck with a little ribbon that has blackberry seeds on it that she keeps on her person all the time to remind her of Colette and what she hopes to accomplish one day in bringing her friend back.
I know I read that earlier, but that image is just so heartbreaking. Oh gosh. All right.
Brought this
Yeah.
upon us, Ren.
You're mean. Just like a really sympathetic crier. I just have a lot of emotions. So yes, while you are with the bird, who is recovering from a broken wing, which takes a long time to heal, his wings are very important. You do find out that the bird's name is Parsley, and the bird is a black jewel nuthatch. That's the type of bird it is. The bird is definitely very willing to help you. Just needs to, be able to have use of its wing again. So, essentially, you're just sort of bothering it as often as you can without being too bothering, to figure out, when it's healed. So, probably by this point, he's outside more, exercising it, doing short hoppy flights around the village, and the keepers that are essentially like the wildlife rehabilitators of this village are pretty okay with you coming to visit as often as you do. And Bior's mom is very happy to have another helper, especially as it seems that you get along reasonably well with Bior, which she likes, because she really wants Bior to have friends. And she tried real hard to make Blueberry be his friend, but Blueberry's very flighty and just kind of never came back. So, speaking of Bior, how's Bior doing?
Bior's okay. Bior's feeling kind of guilty. They, for some reason, feel that if they weren't out in the field picking all the raspberries and puckberries, that maybe all this wouldn't have happened. So they kind of just want to find Colette, or hope Colette comes back as soon as possible. So there's been going back, trying to retrace the steps, getting as far out as he's willing to where he thinks they took Colette, and just trying to expand upon the map that he's been studying every day, and just slowly saying maybe I'll be able to find her. And he gets back, he always makes a cobbler with his mom for the week. It's another peach and puckberry cobbler, like that Colette like to eat. But, they make sure that no one buys it because it's for Colette. I mean, they have to throw it out at the end of the week, but, Colette's there. It's for them. So no one else can buy it.
I see what you're all doing to me. I hurt you last week, and now you're trying to get back at me with the feelings.
Oh.
No. So, what calling did Bior take?
Bior really got into their emotions, so they took Frostpaw. And it just kind of seemed to fit. you know, just feeling the chill.
Oh. And what are your 3 objects of note?
Um, so Bior, because it's so cold, started wearing a hat, and they decided that it can't always be so sad all the time, so they added a little bow to the hair, and just they have someone to talk to. They now carry around a little Michtim doll.
Yep, I'm an emotionless robot right now. Yep. So yes. So I imagine that since Cordelia is around your place a lot, you and Cordelia can talk a little bit about the situation. So you've sort of maintained communication about the bird and that sort of thing. In addition, with your mapping expeditions, and also we're gonna slide ahead to Glenn real quick, who I also know is working on map stuff. I'm just gonna interject that you and Glenn have compiled your notes on the maps, and you've actually gotten pretty far to the edge of the wood, and you've seen with your own eyes at this point, based on talking to the bird, the layout of this place that the birds Colette to have been taken, along with Glenn's notes about maps in the area. And you both will actually see in the files section of Roll20 that I have shared with you a map that I drew today. It has 2 maps on it, and I'll just stick it right here for the sake of the video feed, since we don't have a map thing up. This is a map of the island with the Michtim forest on it. And also, this is the edge of the wood and the human manor where Colette was taken. And I'll put it up in the main page of the Roll20 if either of you say that you share the information with other players. So then in that case, I'm gonna slide on over to Glenn. Just drop my pen on the floor.
Well, Glenn has been busy. Kind of busy that would worry the naturally peaceful residents of... Is it Thistleboro?
Yep.
Okay, good. He's no longer been doing his usual hobby of stacking pebbles and just seeing how many and how high they can go. He is now practically bench pressing them for the past few months. Mainly because he realized just how weak a Michtim can be when faced with a titanic monster that they encountered previously, and if he had just been stronger, if he could have had some sort of way to beat back such a torrential force such as the cat, maybe his friend would not have been stolen. And in one quiet part of his brain, he's like, if I could have chewed through that shoe, I would have gotten them. I would have gotten those big people. So Glenn has equipped himself with a sturdy war stave that has been there's been like cut stone sort of worked into it, like sort of tightly wound into the striking portion. And he has mostly been trying to gain endurance and strength. But after noting that Bior is doing extremely helpful things, he is coordinating with maps that his sister, who is a well-known traveler of the Michtim kingdoms, he's used some of her maps as a reference point for this eventual journey that they probably will undertake. Also, he realized we should have hid. Bior! You're right, we should have hid. We should have done something better to hide them. Here, I made clothes. And he's literally just like stapled leaves and grass to like his like Sunday school clothes. It's awful. But he's like, we'll wear these and nobody will see us. And then if they do, we'll get the jump on them.
I love that so much.
He's a strong lad.
Have you also been talking with the bird?
Very, very bluntly. Just, are you ready to go yet? No? Alright. I'll see you tomorrow.
The bird has started to get really tense when you show up, but also makes it very clear to you that he's really trying. When you're around, you just see the bird just flapping.
Glenn does not register. Does not register.
So let's hop over to Icklin. Oh, is Icklin frozen?
Oh no. Can you hear me?
Oh,
There you are! Yay!
Apologize, unstable internet is unstable.
That's fine.
So, Icklin has decided to follow the path of magic, but while her mom is a witch, although more technically an apothecary, she went the sorcerer route. So she has been doing a lot of arcane research and she's keeping herself really busy so that she doesn't guilt herself too much about what happened with Colette, because in Icklin's mind, it is kind of her fault for leading Cordelia and Colette and Beor into danger, even though the player knows Colette wanted to go too. Icklin was the one who led them there because she knows the woods. So to kind of help with that, she's been dedicating herself to her magic studies, has been learning as much as she can about like helpful plants in the forests in case they need, to hide again, or maybe they need to find things really quick to help somebody heal. And at first was trying to rally search parties, and when that didn't go so well, has been trying to use her healing magic on our bird friend, Parsley. I have a feeling Parsley may like Icklin more than Glenn. Because while she wants Parsley to get better, she's trying with her magic. If she can do anything to help with her magic, she will.
Okay, sure. Why don't you just roll sort of like a general love roll?
Oh my god. I just checked. Glenn has one love.
I get a 6, and that's an 11.
I'm so proud of you.
All right, so you have now banked a love mood marker, which I'm marking down on my very analog notebook.
Hey, I'm doing the same thing, just with a pencil.
I have color coding. Yeah, you, as often as you can, have developed a pretty good rapport with him, utilizing a little bit of magic to help sort of start stitching, the bones together a little bit. Bird bones are very fragile, and so the healers have definitely shooed you away a few times because they really don't want you messing up the healing of these bird bones. But then when they see that you're actually pretty good at this, they're just like, okay, good. Keep going, that's fine. and that is a way, a more receptive response to your magic that you've seen in comparison to the other adults. because, well, at first, at the beginning, of the spring, after the Colette incident, when you were trying to get together these search parties, the resistance that you were getting from the adults was honestly just kind of weird. You've never really had a disappearance to this level before in your experience in this town. Sometimes people would wander away, but people would go, hunting for them very quickly and they would be found. But also you haven't, dealt with a whole lot of human-related things, especially since you're pretty young and maybe you just weren't paying attention before. But the fact that just nobody thinks it's a good idea to go on this search party endeavor is just really needling at you.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition, the second thing that started to kind of just cause a little bit of in your little fuzzy mind is, as you were doing some sort of magical research and talking to your mother and other sorcerers in the town, they actively started to discourage you from practicing magic, which was never the case growing up. But they, you would pick up a book from the library and start, looking up a spell, and then one of the elders would come by and pick it up and snap it shut and say, go play. You're just a kid. Just a number of times this has happened. So you've actually had to swipe a couple of books and, read them in a closet with a candle.
I mean, I did establish earlier that Iklin already had a couple books. So maybe she's just stashing some to quickly copy things to add to her little hidden cupboard. Maybe it's just become more hidden.
That's a good point. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I didn't know about that little detail, so.
Oh no, this is just stuff I'm piling on you as things have been.
It is all good.
So that is how your spring moving on into the summer has gone. Just continued strained relationships with the grown-ups, and you're just not really sure why.
I'm sure it's not helped by the fun extras that she's added now. She's got a utility belt that she added, and it's got a bunch of different plants and herbs that she'll use with her casting, with helping the bird, which is probably why the adults thought she was just mucking about. She may have blown some flower petals while doing the healing, because it says you call on the flower spirits. I know it's not technically needed, but she likes to do that because it feels more visual. It makes her feel like she's doing more than just throwing around calling spirits. And she also has a little leather strap for a book that she's kept on her. Most of the adults probably just think it's a journal, but it's also a spell book. She keeps little doodles of things she finds in nature, so she can ask her mom what it is later, but she's also keeping spells that either she's copied out of the library books or that maybe she's writing herself. And the thing that's probably concerning, because she never showed an interest in human things before, she's carrying a broken hairpin that has a pearl on top. And she keeps it. Yeah. And she's kind of using it like a wizard staff, part wizard staff, part just walking stick, with every intention of when they get Colette back, that she's giving it to them. Because she knows Colette likes collecting human stuff.
That's adorable. Speaking of Colette, I want all 4 returning players to make me a detect roll. So that's a joy.
I'm gonna hold 1. Oh no.
Holy moly, this is a lot to write down. Hold on. So, okay. So now Iklin has a banked joy. Cordelia has Two banked joy.
Not me.
And not you.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Iklin and Bior, at a certain point, maybe a month after Colette's disappearance, you two are actually both together, just sort of on the street. You've all been, kind of popping in with each other periodically, just updating on maps and birds and things. And at a certain point, Iklin and Bior are in the street talking to each other when you actually notice that Colette's house is dark and all the shutters and doors are closed and there's just no lights on inside, and you think that is rather strange. Cordelia, you walk by Colette's house. It may have even become kind of like a habit at this point. So you notice that her family is still there, but they have become a little reclusive. And then at a certain point, you, just a couple of days ago, heard some of the guardians actually outside their house, and you kind of like ducked behind something. And they knocked on the door, and Colette's pops came to the door, and he just looked a mess. And you couldn't hear what they were saying, but the people that came to the door looked rather firm, and Pops looked upset, and then closed the door, and everyone sort of moved on. But that all said, we're gonna slide back to Kaju, who had just had this experience with this really amazing jump, making a new friend, and then walking back over to the town center and seeing Cordelia. And we're gonna return to real time here.
Is Cordelia humming or singing?
Yeah, I think there you would probably hear her. I don't know how long ago I would have had that experience with overhearing the news, but I like to think ever since it's been happening, she's just been like working on songs, and probably you'd hear, each morning I get up, I die a little, can barely stand on my feet, take a look in the mirror, and sometimes I cry.
Are you engrossed in it?
Yeah, probably like not paying attention, like probably like it's that like working out the song bit of it that every musician has, where they're like in the middle of like, wait, does that chord work? No, that doesn't work. No, wait, switch. Does the seventh work? No. 11th? No. Like I just have like a tiny like makeshift like little guitar that's been fashioned out of like a bunch of acorns and taken the caps to actually make the stock end of the guitar, and the strings are like bits of ribbon and leaf that I've sort of wound together around the nuts to tune them. But I'm not paying attention to anything happening around me.
I feel like my ears kind of twitch and follow the sound of your voice singing. And as you're lost, I just kind of almost like behind you is like, what you singing?
Hip! Oh. Hi.
Hi.
I'm just working on something. It's for a friend, and well, kind of for a friend, kind of for me. It depends on the day. Depends how I'm doing. It's hi.
Hi. I'm new here.
Who? Where did you get those glasses from?
Oh, this? Apparently, there's like. You know how humans have a bad habit of leaving things behind?
I wouldn't know. They don't always leave everything behind.
My face sort of has got this awkward look. Is like, well, let's just say there was like a Michtim-sized pair, and I thought they'd be perfect for my face while I was tree falling. You know?
I'm sorry. Doing what?
Tree falling, you know, where you climb up to the tallest part of the tree and then you just fall.
Like like I'm imagining like if it's like a camera perspective from like
Yeah.
Cordelia's like view, like you're having that thing in like cartoons where like suddenly the tree that is pretty big already just like zooms out of perspective, and from her mind it's like doing that thing when she looks up at the tallest tree. She's like her face says she's terrified, but also she's like, okay, that's really scary, but that also sounds really cool. You jump from there?
Mm-hmm. And I use these, and I pull out two feathers, and they help me not turn into paste.
Yeah, not being paced is generally really good, but is it? It's just like looking at you and like looking back at the tree. It's like head darting about like 15 different times before like how how many times have you done that?
It's the first time here. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Not as tall as that one, though. I've jumped from bushes.
Wait, did you just do that right now? Camera like shifts in and out again, and it's like twice as dramatic in Cordelia's head. It's like,
As you're staring up at this tree, thinking about how dangerous that is, you actually hear kind of like a thump, 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 like heavy footfalls. And you see one of the healers actually walking alongside Parsley, coming sort of in your general direction. And the healer actually doesn't call out to you, calls out to Kaju. Hey, Kaju.
Yes.
Yes, we're wondering if we could get your help.
Sure. I love helping because I love helping.
And his healer, his name is Horace. His name is Ren forgot to name this NPC. Goes up and sort of pats his paw on the wing of Parsley, who's looking a little alarmed.
Oh, who's that magnificent creature?
Well, this is a charge of ours right now, and we're actually thinking it's almost about time for him to get along and get going. But we need to do a flight test, and we've noticed your efforts, and we are reasonably sure that if you go along with him, and the bird, birds don't have a lot of eye control really, but the like their eyes can't get wider, but the pupils are sort of going bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller.
So that was a real suggestion.
Yes. You don't understand. Kaju is an expert tree faller, and you know, if everything's working right, you won't fall, you'll fly.
Oh, Cordelia.
Hi, Parsley.
I don't know about this.
I don't entirely know this person either, but they seem really awesome, and I promise I'll do whatever I can to make sure they make things easier on you. Okay?
I would really feel a lot better if Eglin was here.
I can go get her if you'd like.
Yes, please, thank you.
Okay. So you see her like stand up to like try and like take a moment where like she stands up, like dusts herself off, and even at her full height, she's small. So I'm imagining she's still significantly shorter than Kaju and everyone else. Like she's a small little round ball, and she's like, "Okay, before anyone does anything, before I go, I'm gonna say this. Kaju, you seem awesome, and be nice to my friend. You seem like a nice person. Be nice to my friend," and points at Parsley. Parsley, I'm gonna go get Iklin. I'll be right back. Don't do anything until I come back. I think I can make things a little bit easier for everyone.
My dear, you know that I'm a professional healer. And then the bird kind of bumps him with his wing.
I really, really would be more comfortable with Eglin, please, thank you.
And like before Cordelia runs off, like she just walks up and like look. I imagine she pretty much to everyone, like she always has to like look up, even to like similarly sized Micklin. She's very small, but she looks up at like the healer and she's like, "You should really listen to the patients. It helps improve bedside manner." And then she just takes off, running to Iklin's place.
This teenagers are getting more and more uppity with every generation. Fine.
So Cordelia runs immediately to try and fetch Iklin.
Yeah, and as the camera sort of follows Cordelia along, you just sort of see in the background that the healer is sort of ushering Parsley to the base of this tree and is kind of talking with Kaju about, the proper safety procedures for this jump flight.
I just have a quick question to Parsley of how are your feathers? Are they really good at gliding? And like we can like that those are just sort of like in the background. I'm just like talking about Parsley's feathers.
Parsley will kind of, in this very distracted and nervous way.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not really much of a gliding bird. I do a lot of, foraging. But I mean, I can fly, but it's more of a, I don't. Yeah. And he's just very a little mumbly and concerned. But yeah, Cordelia, you rush off to find Iklin.
I imagine that like I try and like just go get Iklin, and I'm just like wherever Iklin's home is, I'm just like to the front of it. And I'm probably I'm so small that like even for the knocker for average size Micklin, I still have to kind of like jump up, be like, "Hey, hello, is anyone here? Iklin, Iklin."
And for the sake of stuff being frozen, we'll just say that Iklin answers the door, and you start scurrying back
Or
to this.
Iklin's internet is what the subtitle of this episode is going to be.
Michtim, Seasons of Entropy. Entropy has happened.
Someone has hexed us.
It's Iklin's mom has hexed us because Iklin didn't pick witch.
Oh, there's Iklin back.
Pox on whoever hexed my internet connection.
So Cordelia has just knocked on your door, and you happen to be home alone today. So
and I just quickly explain the situation to you, and I'm like, hey, Parsley might be trying to like go for a test flight with a cool new person who jumps off of really high trees and lives.
Oh no.
Damn it, did it happen again?
Yeah.
It's great because it keeps freezing on the
On these
best
perfect
faces
faces.
as well. That makes it even better. Do we want it for the sake of like expediency and
Yeah.
keeping
So
things going,
how
just know
about?
that we're all back at the
Well,
tree,
yeah.
or
For the sake of continuing on with the trajectory that I was going to try to go on, is you two are now rushing back to the tree, and Bior, you happen to notice that these two are rushing, and since you have been, pretty diligent about, trying to start paying attention to things, you see this. So you can call after them, you can run after them. The floor is now yours.
Yeah, Bjorn noticing he's just like, maybe it's time. Just slowly walking in the same direction.
I also imagine Iklin's kind of like got her little thing over her head. It's like, hopefully, because Glenn, maybe the light will catch it.
Twinkle, twinkle.
Yeah.
Bjorn's just like,
that's perfect, yeah.
we're gonna go find Colette soon, Barry. Yeah.
Yeah, if Glenn sees you guys, he'll be like, hey! What are we all in a hurry for?
Test flight, test flight, test flight.
test flight.
He like checks the sky for what time it is, and he says, alright, I guess I can work my jog into this. And he starts like building up like cardio behind them.
Is Glenn the type of person who like if we couldn't remember the right path, he'd be jogging in place just to keep his momentum going? Is he that guy?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, he is. Which is a little disconcerting because he carries that war stave everywhere he goes, and he explicitly calls it a war stave and corrects anyone who says a big stick.
Yeah, so you all get back to this tree. You see Kaju is very excited and holding feathers and is fussing over Parsley.
And I'm doing different wing motions.
And you all know that it's very important that you are able to enlist the help of Parsley, because even though you have, with the birds' descriptions of everything, figured out where you think Colette has gone, there is that looming danger of that stalking creature, the cat. And, in your talks with Parsley, you have developed a little bit of a plan that if Parsley can get flight back and you can all get over there, Parsley can, keep lookout. And Parsley wants to help you, but Parsley is also a little nervous about the cat. But is very grateful for your help and the fact that he is not cat dinner. So you see this nervous cat Parsley talking to Kaju, and the healer is sort of checking his wing. He's like extending it, sort of testing it out. Yes. What? Why do we have this isn't a party.
You're right. This is a rescue mission in progress.
It's a search party.
Wait, what rescue mission?
I'll tell you later.
Could she fly? Is that why she got feathers?
They have feathers because they are an expert tree jumper.
Is this some sort of magic?
No, it's just
Child, everything
bird.
we do has at least a little bit of magic in it.
Is it big magic?
Nope, it's just physics.
Sounds like a magic spell. Let's see it. Let's see what you got.
Glenn's mind physics is magic. That's amazing.
So, Glenn, are you basically sort of implying I should do a tree fall?
Is that what your spell book calls it? Sure. That we need some air reconnaissance eventually.
All right, well, children, stop arguing. If you're here to spectate, then scooch over to the side. Iklin, your presence has been requested by the patient, so you may stay here at the base of the tree if we need you, which I do not think we will. And, Parsley, I know your leg work, so, if you would escort, or be escorted with Kaju up to the tree, then we can get you out of our village as soon as we can.
Oh my. That was
Kaju's already
rude.
gone. Kaju's already climbing up the tree.
Wait,
And not Blueberry. Parsley gives Iklin just a little like kind of nervous glance, and then starts doing that little nuthatch hop up the tree.
Could Cordelia be playing a song for them while they're doing their little climb up? Is just preemptive.
That is a
helping them
perfect
out.
opportunity for Cordelia to sing something. Yes.
She'll just look up, she'll pull out the little guitar, and mechanically I'm spending an action to do the joyful song, and you'll just hear like her directing up at like Parsley, because I imagine she's a little more compassionate and good at reading emotions, and she probably sees Parsley a little nervous. She's like, "Hey, you with the pretty face, welcome to Michtim race. It's a celebration. Mr. Blue Skies up there waiting. And today is the day we're waiting for." And she just keeps a happy Mr. Blue Sky tune going for a little while. So I would like to try and roll joy
Okay.
to give them mood markers.
The- For everyone watching, all of our characters now have callings, which are sort of like a character class now, and this is what we talked about when everyone was being reintroduced, what calling they have chosen. And Cordelia is a bard, and the bard does, buffing, sort of bard things.
So I will spend one of my joys that I have in order to get a fourth dice, and then
Perfect.
I will roll. I will hold one to give it a bigger effect, and I will keep, because I had two, I've spent the one and I still have a +1, so a +1 with holding one, rolling for joy, so it'll be 3 dice being rolled. So that is a 7 exactly.
That's a success, but also extra because you held one. So Parsley looks down at you, and physically you can actually tell that Parsley is like stealing themselves a little bit, and there's a little bit more spring in the hops up the tree.
Parsley has two joy mood markers. You would normally only be getting one. If I did a success, he gets 2 joy markers to add. So if he wanted to do anything with those, he has 2 now. And I think because Kaju could hear me as well, Kaju also gets 2 joy markers to work with as well. Because it's
perfect.
anyone who can hear me. Well, actually, that means everyone can get 2 joy markers, actually, now that I think about it.
All right, great. Yeah.
Bards,
So now,
last for the win.
Kaju, you are up at the top of this really excellent branch with Parsley.
Sort of like lick my paw and stick it up to see where the wind is blowing.
I don't know. I've met a Michtim that's a flying expert.
Well, free falling sort of flying. Especially if you know how to float.
I really do love flying. It's just it's been a bit since I've flown, and I don't really know if I remember how. What does it feel like?
It feels like you're weightless as the wind's rushing, as gravity is pulling you closer to the earth, the wind wants to keep you flying, and you're stuck in this middle space where the earth and the sky are both wanting to get you closer to them. The earth wins eventually, but you can spend a little time with the sky. All you gotta do is flap and know when to just glide.
Alright, so you're going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, hold
And-
on.
And he'll duck down so that you can get onto his back if you want to.
Yep.
Alright. Maybe you can, count us off?
All right. So on a 4, 3, 2, 1, and I sort of give a very gentle nudge.
And you feel them just claw onto that branch.
Wait. No, you went backwards. That was confusing.
Okay.
Was I supposed to go on the one or wait until the after?
Okay. To be fair, we didn't decide on that. What do you want? What makes you more comfortable?
The one, I guess.
Okay. So I'll count back again, if
All right.
that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then he pushes off the branch.
Whee!
I'm gonna break a roll, but I got extra things because I have a boyfriend. Whee! I have a 6 and 2 5s. I didn't think to hold any, but that's fine.
Nice.
For a second, I thought you meant the 6 total, and I was like, well, I've done
Oh
my
no! I
job.
got a 6 in addition.
Oops, so scared.
Okay, so
Cue Tom Petty.
for a moment, Kaju, you are thinking that you might have to carry this. You actually kind of like grip on with your thighs a little bit, and you're holding your feathers. And you're like, is the bird gonna flap? And you start falling. You start falling. And then Parsley starts flapping. And you're still falling. And Parsley looks concerned. But then
And
you
I'm-
all can hear the music still floating up. Cordelia's voice falters for just a moment, but still is rising up. And then Parsley is flapping and flapping and flapping and flapping, and you are zooming over the Michtim village. And you do
Whee!
like a really
I was just
Sort
gonna
of-
see if I could cast a gust of wind to help.
you do a slightly clumsy at first, but then a pretty smooth circuit around the Michtim village, and then you both come skidding to a stop in front of everyone.
You did it.
Yay!
I imagine Glenn was like trying to catch them if anything went wrong.
And the it's hard for you all to tell bird emotions because bird face. But
just beak open and yelling, maybe.
well, so the beak, Parsley's beak is open and Parsley's panting, but it doesn't seem like a panicked panting. It's just a, all right, well that, but the healer sort of cuts into this joyful moment. Yes, all right. Well, you can fly now. So, thank you, Kaju, for your assistance. And he starts like fishing through his pockets, and while he's fishing through his pockets, he's still addressing Parsley. All right, well, you may now vacate our village, please. And yes. And,
Why are you
Kaju-
so rude?
Unceremonious?
I'm sorry.
I mean, even the Ternaya courts are a lot more polite when people are leaving. My mother said there are people that they don't like, and they still give a really nice goodbye. Oh no, I think Steph is frozen again.
Steph's expression is frozen with disdain towards the healer.
The healer, Mr. Horace, just kind of looks at you and cocks his head a little bit.
There we go. Am I back?
Yes.
Oh,
Now, I understand that you're very, very good at this falling business, child. But might I remind all of you that your children.
Might I remind
And-
you that my dad is also a guardian of the forest?
And my mother's a courtier for the queen herself.
And I'm going to put you down with this war stave if you make any more
Glenn. It's okay.
We've done more than any of you have to save one of our own. By the end of summer, she's gonna be back here.
And I've done more to help Parsley than you have. And now you're just gonna push him out of the village? Like he's an unwanted guest? Like you haven't helped any other injured creature that's come across our path and then made them friends? Like you're not friends with other birds?
Yeah, what she said.
The healer is just sort of like cocked his head and is just sort of mid-sentence taking all this in, but has this kind of like oddly emotionless face. Are you done?
Mostly.
I don't know, are you?
Yes.
Well then toddle on. If you're not gonna help, if you're just gonna be mean, you can go.
There's just this long sort of pause as he's looking at you.
Can I
Now, where were we?
can I roll like some sort of grief really quick to maybe understand if this is something that's happened in the past with him? Or that like he's not being
You know, why don't you roll a grief just as kind of like, we'll just kind of like use it as like in D&D terms, like an insight check, just like a empathy sort of
right.
thing.
Okay. 532.
All right, so Horace is looking down at Icklin, head cocked, mid thought, and you take note of this sort of blank, emotionless thing he's got going on, and it doesn't really seem to match the attitude that is coming out of his mouth. But then, in that moment that he switches back and says, "Now where were we?" It's something that you just don't quite understand is going on in his face. It's like his emotions just kind of reset for a moment, and he just fixates his glance back on Kaju and just like sort of gets back to what he had been doing, ignoring the entire thing that had happened with Icklin. Like the blankness has gone away, and it's just kind of back to like normal mode. Oh yeah, sorry, I was finding you something, good child. Yes, and he hands you, Kaju, a little bag. I hope you the best, Mr. Parsley, and good. Where did all your children come from? Yes, have a good day. Goodbye. And he wanders away.
You all noticed that, right?
Parsley is just excitedly flapping their wings.
Notice what? What's in the bag?
I want to know too. Is it birdseed?
It is not birdseed. Do you Do you open the bag in such a manner
yeah.
that everyone can see what's in it?
Well, I put my nose in it first before I look in it.
It has a very nutty smell, and a little bit of like sugary smell too.
Does it smell like cashew nuts?
It is candied cashews.
I just squeal, "Gotcha!" And I stick my face in the bag, and you just hear little sort of munching noises, like a
imagine-
horse.
I'm imagining it was like one of those like little cute cartoon moments where like the bag barely fits one person's head, then another head gets smushed along it. But then once Kaju sees that it's candied cashews, like the whole screen gets taken up by Kaju's head, and we're all like, "Wow!"
Oh, like the
fact.
vantage point is from the back.
Fun fact. Kaju literally means cashew. There's a
That's what
reason
I
why I've been
figured.
called.
I figured that's why. When I heard the sound again, I
Beautiful.
was like, Mariam, did you fucking make a pun name again? Oh, damn it. You did.
I
Oh,
did.
I love you so
Oy vey.
Yes, so Parsley is flapping.
Good lad. All right. Parsley, you feeling good? You feeling energized?
I'm feeling great. Do you want to go?
I kind of do. We need to pick up stuff though, I think.
I can't carry all of you.
Eh. I could carry the rest of you.
Got to fly slow.
And he sort of jumps up and starts doing some more circuits above your heads.
Actually, yeah, do
Guys,
we
Well,
we
you don't
wanna-
have to. You don't have to carry me all the way. As soon as we're close to where we need to go, I'll just hop off.
They make a very good point.
Parsley's up in the air, so.
Did you guys notice how Horace just kind of like forgot we were here?
It was
happens all the time.
It was a dismissal. We don't need to dwell on it. We know what's important right now.
I'm used to it.
I'm just getting real sick of adults telling me what to do.
You want to know what I learned, Iklin? In the brief time that I've been kind of in this, like all of us, we're all caught up in this moment where we're realizing that the world outside our tiny shell of a town isn't so nice. I think the difference between us and everyone else is that we're trying to do something about it. We're trying to crack this nut.
Say nuts.
Nuts. But I think something happens with... I think something happens with these adults. All of them grew up without this opportunity, or they let it pass. And now they're not broken, they're just... I don't know.
My mom uses a term called ennui. Enway? I don't know. She uses big words. It's something about liking the way things are going and not wanting to change.
That sounds like a hex.
Yeah, it doesn't explain why they keep trying to stop me from casting magic.
Parsley swoops on down and does a really just skidding stop in front of all of you.
All right. I'm definitely up to snuff now.
So, I think Kaju had a start of a good idea. What if you took us in shifts? Because you said you can't carry all of us at once, but what if you take like a couple of us, leave us on a tree branch, come back, get the rest of us, and then we can all meet up in one spot. and figure out a course of action.
Paul.
Would that be faster than us just walking and following?
Maybe, but where are you going?
We're gonna get Colette.
Oh, that fluffy one. All right. Yes.
Wait, quick stop real quick. Mariam, have you been saying something? Because I haven't heard you for the past, 10, 15 seconds.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry. It looked like you were saying something like a second or two ago, and excitedly holding up the feathers, and I'm like, oh no, Mariam is saying something probably funny. And
Well, it's weird because so far it's 80% funny, and then listen, life is real, and I've got
listen.
just the word to sum it up.
No. You are not doing another sound. God damn it! I am muting this if you do another sound.
Oh, it's happening. 4 has the power.
Preemptively head desk.
I'm waiting for Power Rangers music.
I don't have that on my soundboard. Dang it! I do have.
Do you have a Power Rangers sound mix? What do we have you here for?
I do have this.
This is the sound that is made when I'm floating gently to the ground.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. We're all in that Zen moment.
Oh God, I love this.
All right.
But what I was trying to say was basically, as you were all discussing shifts, and that I just said yes, and then we can free fall. And when you talked about Colette, I was like, wait, the who, the what now?
Oh yes, she doesn't know.
Oh, they don't know. Well, okay. Let me put
Or
you this way.
Bjorn,
You
can
wanna-
you sum it up? I feel like you're the only one that can really cut down the emotion of that moment.
We were picking berries, a cat attacked, and then a human picked up Colette, and now they're gone, and now we're all sad.
Colette was our friend.
Yeah.
And this happened.
This Colette's
What comes before summer?
Spring?
Spring. It happened in spring.
It's always winter.
Feels longer.
So, do you know Colette's still alive or there?
Don't know, but this is the best chance we have to see if we could do something about the situation. If you want to help us, even if you don't want to help us, if you just want to go do some more, bird diving now? It's not really using a tree if you're just jumping off a bird.
So you're telling me that I will need to jump off a bird, possibly deal with humans, go through their stuff, risk my body and my life to rescue your friend?
It should be dangerous.
Yeah.
And you get to keep our share of the candied cashews if you do this.
Don't
Even
think that's
better.
I think that was supposed to be just for Kaju.
What?
The bag's empty already.
Yeah.
What?
Does
You ate them?
Glenn, we can see if Bjorn's mom will make us some when we get back.
But they're not
There's
hot
such,
and
like,
toasty.
dust.
She always leaves them out too long.
What? Don't you talk about my mom like that.
Yeah. That's not nice.
Closest we've all ever heard BRB to anger in our
Oh
entire.
jeez. Oh,
knowledge of
Glenn
knowledge.
starts shaking.
Well, you can have the dust that's left in the bag.
I think the
And-
bag is alone with its aroma will be enough.
And while you're all arguing over the rest of this cashew debacle, I want to welcome Variant Rolls, who has just raided with 13 kind folks who have come to watch our fairy hamster shenaniganry.
Join us as we're arguing over who gets the remains of a bag that was filled with candied cashews. One of our party has very astutely taken the opportunity to eat all of it, and one is upset and wants the bag of dust. Presumably for his own smell bag, we're uncertain of the purpose.
Excuse me, it's called aromatherapy.
It's also called phrasing.
And that all said, Partially the bird is getting very impatient, flapping his little wings.
All right. But I would like to go.
Okay.
Oh.
How about this for a plan? How many of us can you take without it being too much trouble? Can you take all of us, or can you only take a few of us?
Well, you're little.
And very little.
I'm automatically out.
This is going to take about 3 trips.
Should we find a basket?
I could attach myself to a leg.
I'm sure I can keep up on the ground.
No. Okay.
A lot of pressure for someone who hasn't flown in 2 months.
You all can
No,
go first. I'm going to get some stuff for the search party.
Same.
All right, who's hopping on?
Well, is it okay with everyone if I stick on for all of the rides, just to make sure everyone gets on and to our location safely?
Actually, yeah, because then...
Character mechanically, can I buff everyone as we're going? I was trying to figure out a nice way in-game of saying, if I'm on there all the time, I can buff all of you.
Yeah.
Well, at
So,
least know which direction we're going. We just have to follow the music.
That's true.
That's smart. See, this is why we all make a good team.
I just met you, and this is crazy. But let's do this.
So fly me, maybe? Is that the end?
So for the sake of expediency, I will say that with the bardic inspiration of little Cordelia and the exuberance of Kaju and the enthusiasm of Parsley for finally flying again, that those of you who want to fly or walk, you find yourselves at the edge of a wood overlooking several human structures, a small pond, and uncertainty as to if that cat creature is lurking about, if Colette is even still there, how dangerous the humans are, and if you're even prepared for this as we head into a brief break.
Boy. Tough times. Well, we'll see you all in just a little bit. Stay tuned for Welcome to the Party.
Okay.
For today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice, dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hi! Welcome back. It is a pleasure to see you all again. Let's get back into our... I was about to say our big cheek pouch-filled yumminess, but only one of us got to actually experience that.
Look,
Wouldn't you like to be them?
that really was their payment.
All I can say is I hope you enjoy that whole bag of candied cashew.
I think they did enjoy it.
Good. Well then, do you want to take us back in, Ren?
I do, yeah. So, I did neglect to ask your permission about whether or not you shared the map with them, because I just stuck it up on the Roll20 thing without thinking.
We
But
would have shared it before we went.
I believe, hopefully, you can all see this very professional map with a very professional red dot indicating where you all are.
I'm sorry, Zoe. Stop playing with the dice, baby. She found dice. Yes, you.
So, for those of you that can't see our Roll20, we have 5 little fey hamster teenage accidental adventurers overlooking this rather luxurious human manor. There is a large sort of mansion house, a very long tree-lined driveway, what is clearly, although these Michtim do not know this, but for us, a big carriage house, a big barn, gardens, fountain, just flowers everywhere. And they're on the edge of the Michtim woods of the Michtim region of Lyria. And a bird named Parsley has just ferried everyone over. Now, I will say,
Do I bird dive?
if you want to bird dive, you can absolutely bird dive.
But continue.
As you all are standing on the edge of this wood, you may be teenagers, but you do all know that once you sort of cross this threshold into human territory, that it is very dangerous. You could get caught. There is a cat. So that is what's going through the heads of, I'm not going to speak for what's going through their heads, but something that is a factor in this adventure.
Mostly wind.
And Parsley is sort of on the ground again next to all of you, panting.
You did good, bird. Parsley.
It doesn't matter.
Thanks
Okay.
for helping.
Are you going to stay around in case we need a quick exit?
I thought I was supposed to check for the cat.
I don't see it.
Just be careful.
Careful on your fly around.
Do. Reconnaissance.
And Parsley bolts up into the sky and starts doing a circle around
Fine.
this human manor, leaving the 5 of you to discuss.
Lest I heard they're talking about sticking them in the barn.
Do we know which building is the barn?
Good question.
What's a
Yeah,
barn?
from your research, Glenn, and looking at all of your sister's maps, and figuring out, well, this human structure is this human structure is that, you are able to assume that the barn is the one that's on this map all the way to the right.
It's their headquarters.
So what is a barn?
It's a prison for
Oh, no.
anything that has more hair than these two-legged monstrosities. They steal whatever animal they want. They put them in there, and they feed them. Instead of letting them graze on their own.
Should we free all the animals then?
No, because we're not big enough for that. The other animals are really, really big. They'll probably step on us.
Maybe they'll help us?
They might have been there longer than Colette.
They may know if she's not there, if maybe she went somewhere else. Maybe she got out and got lost.
I kind of hope that's not the case.
Me too.
Well, we'll see if we can find them. If we take some time to figure out this area. Do you have any thoughts, Kaju? Can't hear you right now, Mariam.
Did you say big animals?
Yeah.
Well, I think Glenn and Bior, did you look into this at all?
No, I just tried to find where this was.
Do you want to have you and Glenn lead the way?
Animals as big as a tree?
You can try.
Animals that you can jump off of. I think that's a fair estimate.
I'm partially skids back to a rather. He's getting better at it, but the landings are still.
If he's skidding, he's going a bit wild.
Look, he's very excited that he's flying again.
The
You try being a bird who can't fly for 2 months.
You see bird trail skid in the dirt just a few feet away.
Alright. I didn't see it.
Okay. Maybe it's stuck inside the other buildings.
I don't know.
Or it's out hunting.
Without hunting, it wouldn't be home.
Exactly. Which is good for us.
Hopefully it's not hunting us.
Wrinkle my nose at
does.
that.
If it does, let me at him.
That's what I'm talking about. And I whip out my war staff and I'm like, we need that sort of ferocity. I'll take it on the ground and you'll take it from the air. And then we'll drive it back into the house where it belongs.
Cordelia at this point is just looking over like Iklin and Bior and just like, well, out of the other two's line of sight, and is just like doing this motion with their head of just no, just mouthing bad.
Is that stick gonna be enough against the cat?
With the right timing, yes. So if it's all clear, I say we move forward.
Yeah. Let's see how well we can sneak over there. Because we don't want them to see us.
Nope. What time is it, by the way? Is it about like afternoon?
Well, you all were sort of just starting your day when the tree dive happened, and then the various flights. I'd say it's a little bit afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Are there any patches of dirt around?
It is.
It doesn't have to be wet.
I mean, it's sort of like nicely kept grass.
Oh.
There are the very long, sort of winding patches of packed dirt that you can see, surrounded by unnaturally manicured flowers and trees that are all growing in very straight lines.
Perfect. Iklin's actually gonna go roll around in the dirt a little to kind of powder down their black fur so it's a little less noticeable amongst the grass.
Well,
Like,
that's
it's-
actually like beyond the grass. You're still at
We've
the
got a
edge
ways
of
to
the
go.
wood.
We've got a ways to go.
So you could
Okay.
absolutely, if you just like scooch a little bit of the leaf litter off the floor of the forest, then you'll get down to some good kind of even like a little bit damp earth material. So.
Okay, so then doing that. And maybe even putting a little dirt on her ears because they're so white.
All right, folks. Here's what I think we'll do. We'll cross over to the banks of this little pond here until we can cross this road of theirs until we get to these trees. We'll use the trees for cover until we can get to the bushes that hopefully will lead up to the barn. At that point, we need to get in the barn somehow. And I don't know if there's any mouse holes that we could use.
Sounds good.
So are you gonna clarify, are you talking about going this first arrow way that way, or skirting around the pond the second arrow way? Okay.
This one, maybe. I want to stay away from this place. It's big and scary.
Alright.
Okay.
This is really big and scary.
So, important question to everyone. Let's decide this right now. Do we want to just quickly try and scamper, or do we want to be a little bit slower and hide everywhere as we go along?
I say hide.
Okay.
Yeah, we should probably hide.
So it's going to be a scamper across the grass until the first sort of obstacle that you have?
I think so.
With this trajectory, the first obstacle would be that tree. Because the rest of it, unless there is something specifically drawn, it is just low grass.
Okay.
So near... I sort of look at the map and I ask, the tree that is there, is that bigger than the barn?
They are rather, you can just see, like from looking out, that they are rather small. They're shorter than the barn. They are just very manicured little shrubby trees.
These trees are not natural.
I think we should head straight east and follow those arrows.
All right. So,
with that being the case, Cordelia just preemptively is just going to detune a lot of her strings down, so it's a lower resonance to it. She's just going to sing out to everyone, "I put a spell on you because you're mine. Watch out, dear humans, 'cause I'll soon put a spell on you." And I'm going to try and roll for the what's the fear one called? It's got a name. I think it's Gloomy Requiem, to try and perform to give folks grief markers so that they could potentially have a boost to their hides. So I was double checking with everyone if we're hiding, just in case.
hide is fear.
Oh,
Fear.
It's fear. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Because-
fear. Sorry, fear. I did
Okay,
do the fear
cool.
one.
I thought I figured that was the fear. Yeah.
I was
fear
actually just
uncanny air. Yeah.
Yeah,
gonna
you
ask.
were you gonna do with Bale?
Yes.
Okay.
But what Cordelia is doing will actually help. I can cast Misty Cloak, and I'm not sure distance-wise if I were to hold one dice, if I'd be able to cover some of that open area.
Yeah.
Between like where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bushes are.
Yeah, that's fine. Now with your let's just scooch back to everyone getting a fear marker.
Yeah, so that's a
Um,
success of 9, and I did not hold, so that is 1 fear marker to everyone boosted. I'm assuming because it's a different scene, the joy markers from previous scene are no
I'm
longer apparent.
calling the scene the game session that we're in.
Oh, okay, okay. So the joy markers are still
So
present
you're
for me,
sitting
but
at 1
everyone
joy
is-
marker, 1 fear. Bjor's got 1 joy, 1 fear. Glenn's got 1 fear. Aju's got 1 fear, and Iklin has a fear, a love, and a joy. And the bird has a fear and a joy.
Okay, Iklin, floor is yours.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and trade in that fear token for an extra dice so I can hold one and then cast my pool of 3 for a better chance of success. So I'm going to put a hold 0. I'd still put the input for mood as 0 because I'm
You're
trading
spending
it for
if
an
you're getting
extra
it for
dice.
another dice. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm ignoring that second thing and just looking at the dice rolls.
Holy. We are all scared shitless is the takeaway from that roll.
We have the cover of fog. Well, technically it just says you invoke a water spirit to create a concealing cloak to hide in plain sight. And since I held one dice that is for 2 yards.
Well, I'll just tell you when it expires because this is,
Okay.
a wobbly distance. So, as you walk out onto this grass, and you can definitely feel yourselves kind of leaving your veil, but this water spirit sort of settles down on you, and you can kind of see between each other that sort of like wobbly air, like the air right above a fire. And as you all make your way over to that first tree, without any issue, and Parsley went sort of with you, and I'm going to use green for Parsley, and Parsley's going to land up in that tree right there. Oop. And keep watch. And now you are all safely at the base of that tree.
Phew! That's all I got to say.
Do we want to cross the road while we still have cover from my spell?
I think it would be imperative.
Yeah. Everything is pretty flat here.
Well, I can always try to cast it again if we need to.
Right. Do any of you feel inclined to do a detect roll, or are you just gonna bolt over?
Oh, yes. I'll do a detect roll.
Okay.
That's Joy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Any GM that's like, do you want to do something, or are you just gonna keep going? It's never a good sign. I know what that means.
7 on the nose.
Okay, so as you're looking around, you do see that there are some other birds just in other trees. They seem to be like sort of doing their own thing. You see a little fish do a jump in that little pond. And as you're sort of doing this scan over and, not seeing any human movement, just seeing sort of local wildlife, you do see, as you're looking down the matted dirt way, 2 spots of light, kind of, but nothing of real concern right now.
Okay. There's some light down there, but I think we're okay for the moment.
And do we cross?
So you should just keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's ride this momentum through.
Scurrying across this, you are all on the other side of these very, very manicured flowers. After you've all sort of dived into this section of floral bushes, there is a rumbling, and a very large, shiny black object is just rolling along, and it rolls along past all of you. It's huge. It's taller than a person by a little bit. And
Is it a bear?
Is it being pulled by anything?
it doesn't seem to be. It's on wheels. You see? It's very shiny. There are 2 lights on the front of it. There's Oh no.
Let me... I will adjust this. Continue.
And it just rolls on by. It's very, very loud, and there is just sort of smoke that comes up from it.
Oh, it must smell awful.
It doesn't smell very good. And it stops right in front of that fountain up here.
Now.
If we stay close to the trees, maybe we can use the just get as close as we can before whatever that thing is gonna do does it.
I think that's our safest bet unless we want to wait for it to fall asleep. There's nowhere else for it to go.
Top of it, we can fly.
What do you got? Okay.
Look how fast it is.
Very fast.
Maybe it's too big to see us.
It doesn't seem to be taking any notice of you.
Let's distract it. Let's go.
Alright, I think we should move 1 tree forward because it just passed us, so it might not notice us.
Right. You
Because I think those lights were its eyes. It just has really bright eyes. You know when like you're in the dark and something shines the light in their eyes? It must be like that.
Shine back.
Why would it shine light into its own eyes?
Could I lead everybody with my joy? To sort of like put my bravery forward to make them push onward?
I join you.
Despite the presence of this ungodly beast.
I'm almost like looking at it and sort of like leaning in that direction as I'm following you.
Yeah, you're mesmerized. I'm worried.
I could also jolt us forward. Sorry, I'm letting the magic powers go to my head.
I think I'm going to like I'm going to lead us forward. That's how I want us to move forward through this portion.
It's very trivial to make it to that next tree.
Okay, good.
And as you sort of, cling up to the base of this tree, you actually see that the very large shiny black object opens up. And out of it comes 2 humans.
It swallows humans.
Do we recognize them?
It makes humans.
I listen.
Humans...
And I bring my war stave out.
Humans to you all are, very interchangeable. They have clothes on that, they're big and fluffy, excessive. They could be the same people, but from this distance, you have no idea. But they are. The two of them are walking towards the larger of the human structures.
Okay. They're not going to the barn.
And yeah, they're in the process of walking towards the larger structure, and the large black thing is moving along the other way. Ooh. I deleted the wrong thing.
That's
Thanks
okay.
for that.
It's okay.
Glad that happened.
It's only on our end. Oh boy.
Token for the map my players were on, and that was fun.
I'm gonna look to
Put the dragon back on here. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, hide the
Doing
dragon.
this for my own, like,
Oh,
brain,
yeah.
So
Iklin, what sort of spells do you actually have besides this fog?
Well, I can heal us. I can help us jolt forward really quick. I can make a shield. And, I can attack, but I don't want to do that right now.
I do.
If
Well, setting things on fire isn't gonna be good for Colette if she's in there.
Whoa!
You were saying, Beer?
if I go ahead, I might be able to make it so they can't see us.
Really?
Maybe.
You want to give it a try?
Okay.
Because now that they're here, I think we should actually move faster. We don't know when they might try to check up on her.
I agree. Colette look like?
Big and fluffy and very round.
And their fur is white.
And they like cobbler with peach and puckberries.
important details.
Yeah, really yummy.
All right, so you slide up to you're gonna rush up to the next sort of barrier, the next tree.
I believe so.
Okay. So you're at that second tree in the row of 4, just very straight trees. And the 2 people make their way up to that building as the large black shiny object ends up actually going into the middle building and disappears from sight. And the people open up the door and go in. It is still rather a large distance for you, so you don't see, you can't, I mean, and they're not even facing you, so you can't see their faces, or, you know, it looks like it could be the same 2 people, though. But at that moment, actually, Parsley is gonna come flying over to you all.
Do you want me to do another circuit? Alright.
Parsley, do you know which one of those buildings is supposed to be the one with Colette?
I have no idea.
Okay. Should
Parsley looks sympathetic and bolts away.
we go to the smaller one first, or?
I still think we should head to the barn. If there are animals in there, then they'll be able to tell us where Colette is.
Okay.
The faster we get there, the faster we can ask.
Yeah.
Can we do that jolt, that move fast thing that you talked about, Iklin?
Sure. Yeah, can do that.
Okay, let's try that.
All right.
Suppose that means we all jolt.
Mhm. And
Last one to enjoy things right now, so.
yes, and I'm going to give you one so I can hold one and roll my 2.
Ooh.
And I got it back.
Great. Okay, great. In that case, yeah, you all just take a very daring jolt all the way up to that first tree. with no problem. And you hear the door to that larger building slam. And as you all sort of turn and look around this tree at where you heard the slamming noise, you see at that door the cat.
Bayor, can you hide us?
Maybe if he gets closer. It's kind of far away right now. I can try. I'll see. Let me see if like this works. Let's see. I want to use the. Am I close enough to do the standstill? Well, that's more of it's more of a
yeah, no, you're not
attack thing, isn't it?
But if it makes any of you feel any better, the cat is not looking in your general direction. In fact, the cat is actually looking up at Parsley.
It doesn't see us.
But it sees Parsley. Are we still under the effect of my mist?
If you take a look at everyone around you, there's like the vaguest little bit of shimmer, but it is fading very quickly.
Okay.
Kaju, can you somehow get Parsley's attention up in the tree and try to make sure they know not to fly around so much?
Yeah.
Or they could lead the cat away.
Yeah, I can see if I can get Parsley's attention, and I quickly try to go up the tree.
Yeah, that's no problem. You are very. It's not a very tall tree, and you're very good at this. So you
And
need to
I
roll.
pull out my little kazoo.
That's perfect. Yes, absolutely.
And I go.
Parsley takes a shorter arc than he did before, and then comes back and lands in that tree.
Hey, so that creature, the cat, is not looking at us now and is actually looking at you. However, if you don't land, it can't get you. Just stay really high, and if you can, lead the cat away. Can you do that?
And you can see him. He looks at the way that you're pointing at the cat, who is staring at him. The cat is just locked onto that tree and is starting to make his way down the path.
Where should I go? I guess I could go land on the roof.
Yeah, and if the cat follows, you can just go to another roof, and then it'll have to take its time trying to find you.
Alright.
You can do it. And I sort of like hold the face very sort of like whatever, however my paws can reach. And it's like, you are an awesome flyer.
I'm an awesome flyer.
Just
Alright.
remember to flap.
Alright. And he will launch off the tree and start doing some circles around the pond. And you see that it works. The cat has got his eyes on Parsley and is making his way to the pond. And the cat is hanging out over by this tree that's by the pond. And he's just sort of stretching out and looking up at Parsley, clearly waiting for him to land.
Okay. I am going to stay outside the barn. The rest of you have to get inside. If the cat comes this way, I'll delay it.
Be careful.
You be careful. I don't know what's in that barn. Bior, can you look out for them?
Yep.
Okay.
Barn made out of? Is it like cobbles, like bricks, or?
It is red.
Like blood.
It's the best description ever.
Probably safe to assume that it is made out of wood.
Is it climbable or is it super smooth?
It's rough. Yeah. It's not like polished wood. Look, you know, the Michtim build things out of very different types of things. You've got like, you know, acorn, you know, shingles and things. So
We're unfamiliar with this architecture.
There is no tree that is blood-colored in our world.
Yes.
Don't make buildings out of bloody sap.
With the blood of trees.
Alright, you've got dye. There's red flowers.
But those are natural.
Anyway, yes, this barn looks like rough-hewn red wood.
All right. Before we get going again, I'm going to cast the Mist Cloak again.
Okay.
So Iklin's gonna grab a little, like, vial of water, and just kind of like pop the cork and splash a little bit on everybody. It's the visual of what that looks like.
Okay, I thought you were going power of Christ compels you with that gesture. I was very
No,
excited.
I realized that
I
that
dig
was what the gesture started to look like, so I tried to change my hand motion and it just got worse, so I stopped.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna like just walk up to Glenn and just be like, careful, and then I will attempt to.
Shit.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be my role too for trying to help Glenn too. I will just start saying, bow down, before the power of Glenpa, or be crushed by his furry fist of doom. I'm just gonna try and give you anger markers, or I'm gonna try and roll for anger, which should be fun because I have a 1 in it.
Oh, great!
I'm so
that's
annoyed.
marvelous!
I held one to try and make this lot further and I failed.
That's okay.
I don't see this going very well for me either. Nope, that's a 3. It's about as well as expected. It's not rousing whatsoever.
Alright, well.
We tried.
We tried.
Iklin, you try to cast this spell, and for a moment you see the shimmer start to envelop everyone and then fizzle out. And Cordelia, the same for you. You both kind of look at each other, and I think you both kind of recognize at the same time that you are sort of out of your safe, you know, woods vale area, and you know, your magic is a little wonky out here.
I also kind of imagine that, like, for anyone who remembers the Meow Mix theme song that goes meow 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 meow. I'm imagining in Cordelia's head there's just like a more anxiety-provoking version of that. That's like cat 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 cat.
That's perfect. Yes.
Yes.
I would actually like to keep Glenn company while y'all go in, and I will do it by standing, like climbing up and standing on the doorway, so I can basically be death from above if the cat shows up.
That is amazing.
So, would you like to describe where you all, like, what direction you all are heading? And feel free to also draw on this.
So, I'm gonna try to keep. Let's see. try to keep Glenn like in these bushes right here.
Okay. Yep. Those are just sort of like rose bushes.
Even better.
Yeah.
In addition, the map makes it a little bit blurry, but those two darker shapes directly beside the barn are hay bales.
Oh.
And can we see what looks like a little door on the side there from where we are?
Yes.
Okay. I think Iklin is going to head over that way. That was a bad color choice. You can't see that.
I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, Bjor's gonna be there
You're
as well.
the blue, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
The yellow is me.
Okay,
Dodger.
perfect.
What are you doing?
Death from above.
Above is Kaju's. BR, what are you doing? I didn't hear you.
Trying to find an opening by the barn.
Okay, so Bjor is near Iklin. Death from above is above the
That is your
auto garage place, and Glenn is hiding behind the
Fury
rose bush.
from above.
Now, at this point, Death from above, I should probably stop making that joke. You feel a vibration in the building that you're in, and you can't see it, but you can actually hear a door open somewhere in the building that you're in. But the sound, the awful sound, and the smell of that big, black, shiny thing has gone away. And Iklin and... Oh, sorry. And Bjor, you get over to the side of this barn, and you actually see that it is a half door. It's got, it's shut up to about, it's still way, way taller than you, but about halfway up this door, it's got another door portion that looks like it is held open by something. So it is just open air into this building.
Is there a gap under the door?
Yes, there's a sizable gap that you can absolutely get under.
Yeah, I think
Should we go look?
It definitely smells very strongly of some sort of manure type product, and out this particular door are flecks of hay and just sort of hard packed mud ? That smells rather strong.
Okay. Do you want to peek under with me, or do you want to climb up?
It's easier to go under. Let's just do that.
Okay. And I guess I'll roll detect.
Okay.
Was detect joy, or is that
Jack destroy.
Destroy.
joy?
And I'm going to get another die and use that mood token. Just. Yes. Haha, and I got it back.
Perfect.
Oh, nice.
And BR got one too.
You
With them right now? Sorry to interrupt. Am I with that trio? I forget if we established where exactly I was in all of this.
Oh, I don't think we did.
I thought you were... Oh. Nope, we didn't establish where you were. I'm sorry. I was like, you're in the rose bush, but that's Glenn.
That's me. Waiting for death.
From above or from cat?
Well,
Very important distinction to be made. If it's from above, you might be okay. If it's from cat, well.
Yeah. So where does Cordelia want to be?
I'd probably be wanting to go with Iklin and Bjor, just in case things get really bad in there. I want to be able to inspire them to help get us the hell out of here.
That's perfect. So currently, right now, you and Bjor are kind of backed up against this wall, looking out. while Icklin is sticking her little head under this gap in this door. And Icklin, you look in, and you, from your vantage point, can see a lot of hay and some sort of wooden stalls. Off to one side, there is like a workbench type thing. It's pretty dim in here right now. There are a lot of streaks of light coming in from where the wood of the barn doesn't quite totally match up, so there's just a lot of like little lines of light coming in. You do not see or smell or detect any sign right now of Colette.
Do I notice any other animals?
There are some large creatures. How familiar would you say you are with human livestock?
I'm trying to think in terms of somebody who spends time in the forest. Maybe seen a horse from a distance before, but
okay, there's some horses in there, and you can smell some other types of animals.
But I'm not like player question. The door is across from the stall, so I'm not like crawling into any of the animal pens.
No, this is like an access.
It's an okay. Just checking because I know sometimes stalls will open up directly into the pasture. So
okay, no, this is like a human-sized access door on the side. There are other larger doors on other sides.
All right, so she'll back out a little. Coast is clear. There are some other animals, but they're on the other side, and it looks like they're in pens at the moment. I didn't see Colette, but I couldn't see everything inside.
Maybe we should just go all the way in then. If we can ask the animals.
Okay. We should be able to fit under the door. I mean, if I made it, you guys should make it just fine.
Cordelia is already scampering underneath the door.
Icklin will follow then and reach a paw back under for Bior.
Dolly, take Barry first.
Right, yeah. So as you all are, the three of you are sliding under this doorway into this barn, we're gonna cut back to Kaju, and you feel another vibration and sort of slam sound, and you can hear some voices now, and some footsteps coming out of this building that you are in. And actually, Glenn, you can hear the voices as well. You can't make out anything that they're saying just yet, but they are coming closer to you.
I do a little kazoo.
Does Glenn react in any particular? Okay.
I'm just ready. War stave out. When it gets close, I'm gonna let it have it.
Okay, so you then at this point, from your vantage point, Kaju, you can see two humans. One is wearing a very sort of shiny adjacent-ish, kind of like velvety, green, fluffy gown. And another one has a very short cropped hair and pants and
they're stylish.
Sort of black ensemble. And then the one in the green actually looks over. Oh dear. Jeffrey, would you go get my daughter's foul creature and stick it back in the house. Yes, ma'am. Of course, ma'am. And then you see the human with short hair walk over and start walking over in the direction of the cat. You can see that Four is angry at me for calling a cat a foul creature, but
I gotta stay in character.
And so yeah, as you watch, the human goes and attempts to scoop up the cat, but the cat yowls and then just bolts away from that human. And I don't have the cat color up anymore, but okay, yeah, the cat just bolts up and you don't see it anymore. But the man goes and is chasing after it.
Good. Be gone. I would like to look up to Kuja. One, to check if... Oh wait, gosh, no, that's right.
It's not Kuja, it's not Final Fantasy IX.
I wanted... gosh. Death from above. Are you still there?
And you hear the very small.
If that cat comes back and the humans too, do you think you could float? Could you cast the float spell and get into the barn to warn them? Okay, because I don't think I can take on a human.
That was your second little kazoo.
Yeah.
You actually see right after you do that second little kazoo toot that the human in the dark green turns and kind of looks in your general direction.
If there's a lip, I go under the lip.
Okay. And we're gonna slide back to the barn real quick. And the three of you are looking around this barn.
Can I cast a haste spell on myself to go faster if we're just going full Final Fantasy with float spell and everything?
You do you. Yeah.
Anything you do is magic to Glenn.
I ate healthy, or I ate a vegetable. It's like, what is this sorcery?
Every little thing she does is magic. Sorry.
As the three of you get into this structure, this barn, you look around. It looks like a lot of hay and feeding material for these horses. One of the horses kind of like looks down at you and snuffs and just turns and faces the other direction. And there isn't too much else of note in here. But I think I'd like all three of you to try a detect check, just to poke around.
All right.
Nice. Nice. Great. All right. That is some joy markers for Iklin and Vior.
I can't have any more than 3 total, right?
Correct. So you're at 2 joy, 1 fear.
Yeah.
And thank you, Joe Sando, for subscribing to Welcome to the Party.
That Twitch
for
Prime.
the 2nd month in a row. And you all are just not really sure precisely what you're looking for. But on the thing that sort of looks like a workbench, and it is, you know, a lot taller than you, but you kind of like look up and you do see a small cage. It's like the sort of like edge of it poking out. But you can't see up in it because it's, you know, considerably taller than you are.
Does there look to be a place where we can climb up?
Yeah, there's a number of boxes and just random objects, and you know, you have claws, and everything in here is pretty, you know, rough wood anyway, so it would be pretty trivial for you all to climb up.
I'm gonna climb up.
Okay. You climb up onto this workbench, and you do indeed see this cage. It's currently empty. There's a little bit of hay in the corner.
Oh no.
And the more you sort of poke around, you do see a couple of white hairs.
But it's empty.
It's empty.
Oh no.
Or just scooch back to outside, where Kaju is now hiding behind this lip of this sort of rain gutter type thing, and Glenn is hiding in the bush. And the woman is walking over to the bush, and you actually see her boots. They're very shiny. She kind of like looks up. Hello.
I'm gonna wrestle the bush.
Hello.
So, in some fashion, I'd like to hiss, recalling one time when my sister was telling a story about her travels when she ran into an opossum, and it surprised her greatly, and I'd like to just, like, let a little drool build in Glenn's mouth, and then just go and continue wrestling the bush. Like, go away!
Do you say go away? Or you
No!
Hiss and...
I say
You can't see through this bush what the person's doing, but they're just sort of standing over the bush now and just looking down at it. But Kaja, you can see
this better not be the animal lover.
this woman is just looking down at this bush. And the bush is shaking, and you hear horrible noises coming out of it.
And I look down, putting my goggles on, being ready to jump on this human if needed. Not doing it yet, but just sort of like getting ready. Almost like as if this is like our cue, which we totally did not at all prepare before coming.
Can I? Oh gosh. Am I about to be investigated? Like,
you don't know. But Kaja, you see the person, the human, actually just kind of like ends up looking just around. And is looking just around. Not looking at the bush anymore.
I wait.
And we cut back to the barn. And Iglin, you have just discovered that Colette is not in this cage.
What do you see?
I think she was here.
Are they not here anymore?
Oh, no, I don't see them. Just fur.
Oh no.
Let's keep looking. If not here, let's go find another spot around the house.
Can I walk up to the horse and ask them if they've seen Colette?
Oh, that Ren smile.
What do you do to talk to this horse?
I try to climb up its tail, onto its back, up to its head, to talk to it into its ear.
All right. Can you roll me a love?
Okay. It's an 8.
All right.
And
So what do you say?
Excuse me. Have you seen my friend Colette? They're a little poofy white Michtim. I think they were in a cage over there.
The horse definitely, when you start talking, jumps just a little bit, like just starts, and kind of shakes his head a little bit. But you're on there pretty good, and it's not like a extreme shake. It's just a I don't like that whispering in my ear right now shake. Sorry, my throat is very sore for trying to do a horse voice. Oh, that's almost a pun.
You're getting hoarse.
I'm getting horse.
Just if
We
everyone
have
does
15
that
minutes
gesture.
left. You can't break me. Ah! Okay. Oh, you can talk too.
What do you mean?
Oh, the other one could talk.
Oh, so you met them.
Yes.
Do you know where they went?
They went home. I was sad about it for a few days.
Wait,
They
so
were good company.
they went home? What? When?
A while ago. Yes, they said they were going home. The mistress said they could go home.
Oh, but I was home. I haven't seen them.
Well, they are very small. Maybe you just didn't look hard enough.
Maybe.
Do you have any treats?
Do you like cashews?
That depends.
I don't know. I heard them talking about it, so I got everyone a bunch of cashews. They're candied.
And the horse kind of sniffs. You smell like berries.
I brought this.
Are you going to share?
Sure, you can have mine.
Thank you. And the horse then kind of like has to like awkwardly tip their head.
You be careful. You be careful. Horses.
Shush. Shush, Far. This is real world knowledge. You leave it alone. Shush.
I am horse groom.
I know.
Fingers are valid to eat.
You reach down and you gingerly get this pastry into this giant creature's mouth. And it chews for a moment and then it swallows. That was a very small snack.
Oh, you're pretty big compared to us. So, well, did you want my nuts too, or?
No.
Oh.
Oh, someone's coming. And we'll cut back to just outside the car garage. As the human sort of looks down at the bush again.
If you are who I think you are, they're not here anymore.
I'm gonna roll anger. And I'm gonna run out and thwack those shiny boots with my war stave.
Oh my gosh.
That's my cue to ride the human.
Ah!
And I go, "Where's Colette?"
And I just go, as I jump.
It's a damn shame we only had Glenn for 2 episodes. He is such a wonderful character.
All right.
Those boots probably
so-
cost $800. I was at a horse show literally this weekend. Those boots are you're gonna lose income.
All right. So at that moment that Glenn comes tearing out and is thwapping this lady in the hard leather boot with the equivalent of a Q-tip.
A hard Q-tip.
A hard Q-tip. I meant toothpick, actually, but like
There.
a little bit bigger than a toothpick. Kaju comes screeching down from the sky, full on death from above. And you're just bound into. She's got gray hair kind of piled on top of her head very neatly, and you just dive straight down into it.
And I held one.
I'm so proud.
For a moment, her attention is on the boots, and then she kind of looks up and just reaches up.
Float!
Grabbing the hair.
Float! Float, Kaju! Death from above!
I'm just using the hair and riding.
Death from below!
She's just like trying to grab at you, like, and she's not angry. It doesn't seem like, but she does get her hand around you eventually. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Gets her hand kind of around you, and we just find something. And has you in her hand now.
Oh no.
Calm down. And then looks down, reaches down, scoops up Glenn. I don't have anything else for you. You're a dragon now.
Yes! For Thistleburrow!
Wait a minute. Glenn is transforming. He's evolving.
Dun, 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 dun.
I have like blueberry juice crowning.
Oh my
head.
god, that's right.
It's everything Four's ever wanted.
Look, this is atypical. But you're not supposed to continue coming out here in droves.
What do you expect us to do?
I just now have like
you to stay in your forest and do what you're supposed to.
You're the one who took Colette, our friend!
I didn't take Colette. That was my daughter, and that was an unfortunate mistake. But I sent her home a month ago.
A month ago?
Yes.
Wait.
She never came
understand me?
home.
I'm just asking the important question. They can understand the two of them?
And it's like, wait, oh my god, a talking human. The equivalent of this like quizzical look on my face.
Hey, as long as it understands me, it can understand my threats. You should have stayed in your wheeled dark beast.
Just shush. And she actually just kind of covers her mouth with her hands. And she looks around, and actually you can see that the man comes from around the building and has the cat in his hands, just yowling and being really grumpy. Yes, Jeffrey, go put him away, please. And then sort of like looks around, and then she heads to the barn, actually. And just...
Our friends are totally not in the barn!
Take us back! I will fight the cat! You will see the strength of the Michtim!
Just shush. Then you get into the barn. And she sets you down on the floor of the
Alert!
Wait, but Bior is still on the horse. Do they come in while Bior is feeding the
Yes.
horse the cobbler?
Yes. So in terms of timing,
Oh my god.
Bior's
Eklund's
horse
still
friend
on the
says
bench.
someone's coming, and then the lady comes in holding these two. Iklund's on the bench, and Bior's on the horse. And she sets you two down.
I kick the boot as I walk away.
Yes,
I yell
the-
to Bjorn,
the-
Bjorn, now! Bjorn! Ambush, now!
Stop. And actually, you see when she says stop, a ripple, like
Tick?
Icklin's kind of fuzzy magic, but a little bit different, just comes up in the air around her. Calm down.
You're like me. Well, only bigger.
And then she sees that you are on the shelf. Alright, how many Michtim are here?
Just us, totally not missing one more person.
Look.
Hello.
And she grabs a basket off the side of this pile. Everyone, get into this. I'll bring you back to the edge of your veil, and you can go home.
But what about our friend?
Colette's somewhere else.
That's concerning. I sent her home. Them home.
Okay.
The big black thing.
That thing.
The thing that's in the other building.
The one whose eyes reverse the light.
An automobile, it doesn't matter, it's fine. Just get in the basket. You too as well. And holds the basket to you, Icklin.
Iklund will climb up the handle a little bit.
Alright.
How
How many more of you are there?
I think Bjorn's gonna whisper to the horse, or like, sorry, I didn't get your name, but did you want to come with us?
I like it here. I get brushed every day.
But don't you want to go in the basket?
Join us in the basket.
Alright, for the sake of expediency,
Yeah, it
how
wasn't-
many of you get in the basket?
No,
Drop
it
my
wasn't Bior that broke me. It was the horse's response. It's just the voice. It's just like, hi there, Davy.
Man.
I get in the basket and I just ask him.
Alright, she's just kind of holding the basket around.
I'm gonna
1,
go up on
2.
her hair.
I'm gonna look at the basket, see if y'all signal for me to go in.
Come on, you guys.
I'll go in the basket, but I'm gonna waggle my war staff at her and say, "You better take us to the edge of the veil,
Yes,
or
yes.
wherever."
And it's a bumpy ride, but she walks you all the way to the edge of your forest. You actually see Parsley look rather alarmed and follow along. And you get to the edge of this forest. She sets the basket down, and you're all standing at the edge of this forest. And she gets out a sort of wavy stick. It's like a wand. What? And does some motions in front of the edge of the woods. But nothing happens. I'm just having an off day. And does another series of motions. And the edge of the forest sort of ripples this sort of green energy. But it's blinking in and out. That's not... Your veil is... There's something wrong.
I know. Something was wrong earlier when we were trying to hide.
All right. She reaches down. She grabs Kaju. It's like she just reached down and grabbed whichever one was closest. All right. I don't know how many of you are gonna be able to go. Go. And she actually kind of like tosses Kaju through, and then it blinks out. You can still see each other, but Kaju's on the other side of the veil. Whee! Alright, let me just try that one more time. And she tries again, and nothing happens.
Bink, bink, bink.
Alright,
Is there something wrong? Are you having a really off day?
I mean, we just walked out before. Can't hear you.
she just looks rather conflicted. And then she kind of looks down at the four of you pityingly.
Is it because we lost our friends? We're being punished?
No, you're not being punished.
Who can close this veil? Can Michtim do it?
It's not a matter of people closing the veil. You all seem very young, so I really probably shouldn't be talking to you about all of this, but it's not a purposeful closing of the veil. It's sort of been happening. I'm one of the guardians of the pact between humans and Michtim. I think we need to go see my sister.
Just out of curiosity,
No, she froze right as she was going to ask something. Damn it.
Is this it? Is this the one I need? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. No, that's not it.
4.
That's it.
Oh, god damn it. 4.
It's fine, it actually provided me a very good segue to switch out which song was playing.
4. Meme bot.
Look, I have a lot of work I need to do here, maintaining my side of the veil. I'm going to draw you a map, and you need to go find the guardian of the west side of the veil. Her magic is stronger than mine. She'll get you back in.
Do you think our friend will be there?
One can hope, I suppose.
before I was so rudely interrupted by my internet connection,
Yeah.
I was going to ask if Iklin would have heard anything about the veil or read anything about it, if you think that's a logical thing.
Yeah, you actually, so you're sitting here thinking about this and all this veil talk, and you actually realize that you were, the book that, a little while ago, that one of the adults was just very angry at you and shut the book and took it away from you, was a book about the veil. But this woman looks very, very distraught. Draws you a very quick little map and points you in the right direction. As the four of you are locked out of being able to enter your forest. And Kaju, you are just sitting on this side of it, watching them talk.
I blow my kazoo first, just really loudly, as like a hey! And then when I realize nobody's looking or acknowledging me, I go, whoop, and I start heading back to the down.
You are acknowledged by Parsley. who is sort of looking at you, looking back at them, looking at you, looking back at them. Kashu's trying to talk.
What are they saying?
You actually don't hear
I don't
Parsley
hear
say this.
Parsley. No.
Kashu, you hear Parsley say this. And he kind of like flips a wing. Kashu,
Yeah. They can't hear me.
Can you come through?
just kind of walks into the forest.
We probably should tell their family that they're stuck.
Okay. Do you need to ride back?
Yeah! And can you just like hover so that I can, as I put my glasses on, and it's like, so that I can dive?
Alright.
As Kaju and Parsley glide back to Michtim town, and the four of you are in way deeper than you thought you were. We're gonna end this episode.
Oh my goodness.
Went from rescuing a friend with a new bird friend and a new daredevil tree diver to no longer having a bird friend who can help us. Our tree diver friend is gone.
Kaju just covered half their bucket list, I feel like.
Yep.
And we're just sitting out
No.
here like, what do we do?
No, Colette has to save us.
All right. Well, we did go over just a smidge. I'm sorry about that. So we can very quickly go around and say goodnight.
Who's
Well,
ready? Who wants to do it
I can do it
first?
first.
All right.
Angela, you can find me on Patreon's Philosophem at Phoenix24Fem on Twitter, or you can find me here on WTTP Twitch channel on Saturdays, 7:30 p.m. PST, 10:30 p.m. EST for running Adventures in Agni. I love this group. We are adorable and feely, and yeah, this is great. I'm gonna go pass out now from feels.
All right. I'll just go around my order of my Zoom chat. Steph. Oh, who's frozen? Wild.
Yes, hi. I'm Matt Wild Engineer. You can catch me around on Twitter every now and then, and here on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Yeah.
4.
Hello, it's me. My name is Four. I am tired. But I had amazing amounts of fun tonight, and I was super glad to briefly stand in battle with Kaju. Maybe we'll get tougher as things go on. You can find me on the Forefronts at Twitter. That's where you'll find most of the RPG stuff I do, and I will patiently I will weep for our dear Iklin.
Poor Steph.
Because they once again
Steph
have
has internet that is being Oh, Steph, say
Steph,
your name
Steph,
and
quick!
stuff right now.
Hey,
Holy crap.
Do your
Hi.
thing.
I'm Steph. You can find me on Twitter at Steph the Bard. I'm sorry I keep popping out. but,
Totally fine. Don't fret about it. It's all good.
but yeah, I got that out. You can see all the stuff that I'm doing there on Twitter.
And Miriam, thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us and being our guest while Colette was kidnapped.
thank you so much for having me. And I'm so glad I get to play with old friends and make new friends as well. Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at media_junkie. I am the creator and GM for the Musafir's podcast, as well as doing all things Sarzamin related, which is my South Asian fantasy campaign. You can get all that information on my Twitter.
Cool. It was really a pleasure to have you, and thank you for designing a character that was just flawlessly executed into my plans. I didn't actually even have to change anything. It was like, oh, and then you're a daredevil? Yeah. It's perfect. I'm Atomic Firebird. I will be guesting the next 2 Tuesdays on a game called Shenanigans on Nerdsmith.
That's good.
But the one thing I do want to talk about is this Thursday. What did I say? I said Tuesday for that. I meant Tuesday. I might have said Thursday. I don't know. I'm a little tired. Thursday, I am running a charity one-shot for the Nerdsmith Nerds Giving Heifer International charity drive. I am running a game called The Warren, which is a little bit Watership Down. Yeah, you can see a theme of me running little animal games that feels punchy. So I'm doing that on Thursday. Starts at like 10, I think. I don't know. You can see it on my Twitter. And I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I know some of you want to go to sleep, so thank you so much for hanging out with us. And next game is Autumn. Seasons of Entropy.
It's scary.
It's going to take us 2 months to find this lady.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine.
Do we want to raid really quick?
Oh yeah, we do want to raid. Oh right, I have a whole script I'm supposed to do at the very end. I'm sorry. Thank you everyone who raided and subscribed and came to visit it and hang out with us tonight. Let's see. Welcome to The Party Has a Discord. It's a very active Discord. I really enjoy it. Welcome to The Party also has a Patreon. I'm a patron. You should be too if you enjoy this channel. There's also merch. I think that there's nothing else left on the channel for tonight because we're a part of the fun shots. So yeah, this is the last show that's on tonight, but they are Welcome to the Party is back tomorrow, and we are going to raid someone.
You want to raid Behold RP or Behold Roleplay?
Yeah, and I think we should say Death from Above in honor of our guest.
Perfect.
Kashu.
Okay, is it that or? Oh, it's the slash.
Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and fix that. There! Are we ready?
From above.
Death from above in 3, 2, 1. Yeah!
From above.